Hey ladies, I was just doing a week 5 recap video. I am 5 weeks pregnant. The baby is the size of a sesame seed, and I still cannot believe that I am pregnant. I seen my baby on the ultrasound and all of that, so there's no denying it now, but I am just in shock as to how I ovulated so late and just how off everything was this month. I don't know what it was, but obviously, you know, there's a bigger purpose here than, you know, what I can foresee at this moment. So anyway, just to recap how crazy this has been so far, what turned out being 8 DPO, which I thought was about time for my cycle had I ovulated at the time that I was supposed to ovulate, that I've ovulated for 32 months. 32 months that I've charted, not including these last 2 that I've had, that I've ovulated between basically on cycle day 14. This month I ovulated on, had to have been on cycle day, I want to say 19, and because that's the only time that anything happened unprotected. And I had all the signs earlier in the month of ovulating, all my normal signs, the you know, the egg white, cervical mucus, the cramps, everything. So I don't know if it's possible to ovulate twice in a month, or if it just, you know, the signs were there and it just delayed until cycle day either 19 or 20. So I had bleeding on cycle day 8, which was 28, which was 8 DPO. So I had spotting the first night, and then the next day was probably about a pad and a half worth, and then the next day, 2 days after that, was like half a pad. So, you know, I was like, oh, this is just a light cycle, but my breasts were hurting, and when the baby would breastfeed, I would have this really bad burning sensation. I'm like, that's so strange. And I just felt so weird. Like it just was, I really can't even explain to you what made me feel that something was wrong in particular, besides the, you know, those couple of little things that just seemed off. So I got a test and it was negative. So I was like, okay. But the breast tenderness and stuff didn't go away. So I was like, I told my husband, it just seems so weird. I just feel weird. And he kept, you know, trying to get me to get him to understand why, and I couldn't convey why. So anyway, excuse me. Anyway, what was I saying? Anyway, so once I didn't have actual bleeding except for that first day, the second day, I went ahead and just tested again. And then there was this little line. I was like, you know what? Let me look and see if this particular test, because I just picked up some cheap ones from Dollar General. So I said, maybe it's that test. Maybe that test is prone to have evap lines. And of course I looked up and some people got evap lines. So I was like, okay, it's probably just the evap line. So my tests always turn out darker in the evening. I never have a bright, a dark line from first morning urine. So I waited till that about 12 hours later, and I took another one, and the line was there, and just a tad bit more noticeable. So I was like, okay, something's not right. And I'm thinking, okay, how is that possible, for one thing? Because, you know, from my understanding, I ovulated at the normal time. So, you know, anyway, so I took one another 12 hours later, which was, I think, about 11 the next morning, and that one was a little darker. So progressively they started getting a little darker, to where it was like, okay, that Monday we were like, okay, we need to go to the doctor and see what's going on. So I went to the doctor. The first draw was 143, and the progesterone was 1.2. And you know, healthy progesterone for a healthy normal pregnancy is supposed to be 20 at least. So I'm like, okay, I must have an ectopic. The next draw was, I think, 534, and the for the HCG, and the progesterone was 2.0. And since I got that very faint positive, I started supplementing myself with the progesterone cream. So anyway, so I was like, okay, it should be going up. And you know, like I said, I pretty much thought I was either having a chemical pregnancy or an ectopic. So and I think my doctor pretty much thought the same thing too. So I called Friday and they told me to go ahead and go to the ER and see, just to make sure that, you know, it's not in my tubes, because I am at risk for having a tubal pregnancy. So anyway, I go in and they see me pretty quickly to say that I went to the emergency room. I was kind of surprised, but I had this really sweet ultrasound tech, and she was like, do you want, you know, I mean, what did she say? No, I said, if you want, you can wink at me if things are in the right spot. I said, I know you're not supposed to tell me, and I don't want to get you in trouble when you wouldn't be telling me anything, but if you just gave me a wink, if the baby's in the right spot, you know, it'd be nice. But you know, if you're scared for your job, then don't worry. So all through the thing, she was just talking with me, and you know, she was saying that she was a granny and a mommy, and she was just doing all of this for the Lord. So I was like, oh, I just felt the connection with her. I said, you're so sweet. You know, you just feel, you know, you get around certain people and you just feel at peace. So anyway, I asked her, we were talking about her job as an ultrasound tech. So I was asking her what field of, if there was a particular area of ultrasound that is more in demand. And she goes, and she's not talking back to me. And I'm like, okay, that's strange. So a minute or so later, she said, oh, I'm sorry, I was distracted by something. And I'm like, okay. And she goes, and I start crying. And I'm like, oh my God, it never gets old, does it? She said, no. She said, you're creating a life. Get that out of your mouth. Anyway, she said, you're creating a life, so, you know, it's not going to ever get old. So she turned the screen around and showed me my little being in the uterus. So even though this was the last thing at this moment that we need, it's the last thing that we were trying to do. Who knows why things happen? Like I said, I know my body very well. I know my cycles very well. So why this month did I ovulate 5 to 6 days later? I don't know, because we were using the family planning method with condoms and timing. So, you know, there goes my dream of that working ever again, ever, or me recommending it to anybody. But anyway, so yeah, that's pretty much how we got to this point here. I'm just so thankful that it's not ectopic. And when you're faced with losing a baby, no matter whether it's planned or not, you realize how important and how precious life is. So I am indeed excited. Yes, this is going to be my sixth child, excuse me. But so what? You know, nobody helps us. God, besides God that provides for us. We do everything on our own with our little tribe of babies. And yeah, people seem to get offended. It's almost as if people feel like we're stealing from them or taking out of their pockets or burdening them. And I really honestly don't get it, because we're not on welfare. We're not the richest people. We have bills. You know, sometimes we're squeezing by on some months, but I'm sure that can be said of everybody, almost everybody. So anyway, I don't get why people are like, another one, or really, or yeah, what's wrong with you? And anyway, so we take care of ourselves. You know, if I need to work, I'll go to work. But the arrangement, the way it is working out, and I'll have my life, because I'm 29, so I'll have this baby at 30, and I have the rest of my life to do my career and things like that. So that's how I look at it. This is the beautiful phase of my life that I will never get back. These moments with my children, these moments with these beautiful people that my husband and I, with God's help, have created. It'll never be like that again. A degree is a piece of paper, and I can get that at any time. Anyway, so only symptoms that I have had are waves of nausea, extra BMs. I'm sorry if that's TMI, but and then some cramping, but not nowhere near as bad as it was the first week and a half that about a week and a half ago it was pretty bad. But last couple days it's been okay, and I am still taking the progesterone. My doctor has not prescribed any, and I'm kind of glad, because I really think that I can build my levels up naturally, and I don't want the side effects that the Promethazine has. So yeah, I'm going to be working on my intro for this new baby, and I have a doctor's appointment on Friday. I think I will do another ultrasound and probably some more lab work. So I'm very excited about that, and excited to share this journey, yet another journey, with you all. So thank y'all for all the well wishes and the support. Y'all helped me get through some scary moments, very scary moments. So yeah, I will talk to y'all soon.